Hey everyone, I'm DT10 and in this video I'll be reviewing and showcasing the brand new 1.17 TARDIM mod by the SWID team. Now, just before we get started, there's a couple of things I'd like to mention. First of all, really sorry, I sound weird again. I've got my second cold in 2 weeks. And then, second of all, I actually haven't played this mod at all. Now, I was planning on going into this review blind, so that you kind of got my immediate reactions to stuff, but this is actually the second time recording this video, because the file corrupted for the last time I recorded this. But I really hope you enjoy the review all the same. And with that out of the way, let's get on with this video. So, obviously, the first thing I'm going to be reviewing is the main focus of this mod, and that is the TARDIM itself. So the moment you hold this in your hand, the first thing you will notice is that you kind of get this like preview of where it will land on the block you're targeting, and I think this is really cool. So I've seen this in loads of other games for like construction stuff. I've never seen this in Minecraft or in a Minecraft mod, so I think this is a really awesome thing. It basically just goes red if you can't place it there because of obviously blocks behind it, and it goes normal if you can place it there. So once you right click and obviously you let go, you've got your TARDIM. And next up is obviously the texture, and this looks absolutely beautiful in my opinion. So it's just a really nice blocky vanilla style texture. Now it's important to point out at this point in the video, I'll be using the word vanilla a lot, and that's because the main focus of this mod is to kind of be like a vanilla no modded style mod, if that makes sense. I believe a lot of this mod is based around an old resource pack called TARDIM from many years ago, and it's all supposed to be as if it could be in the actual game itself. So yeah, I really love this texture. One thing I have noticed is it's got a lot of individual hitboxes that you can't destroy, but you still get the particles for. Now, I don't know if that's fixable, but if it is, it would probably be better to have it as one big block, in my opinion. So that at least, even if you can't break it, but you can kind of do that, where you like break it but it instantly comes back, I think it would be better to do that with the whole thing. Then it also has a crafting recipe. This whole mod is very survival friendly, so I'll show the crafting recipe up on screen. Now, it's pretty simple. Something interesting it does include is a dragon's breath. I think this is a really interesting decision. I know it used to be a nether star, but they actually changed it recently, and I think that is probably a much better one, but I don't know if something like a dragon egg would be better, because all this requires you to do is go to the end and just grab the dragon's breath and get out of there. And I feel like this is quite an end game thing, so it might be better if you have to kill the ender dragon to get it, but that's just my opinion. It also includes the TARDIS door and the time rotor, which we'll be covering in just a second, and then as you walk inside, you get this really cool door opening animation, and then you get a really cool interior and a little advancement, but we'll go over them in just a second. Right, so the first thing you'll notice as soon as you enter is it's got a very classic feel to it, and I absolutely love this. It incorporates a lot of vanilla stuff like the quartz pillars and the white concrete and stuff, with some of the TARDIM stuff like the brown doors and the lights and stuff. We'll get to all of those blocks in just a second, but I do actually want to cover, first of all, I want to cover everything on the console. So first of all, you've got this, the flight lever. Now, this is obviously very important because this is what actually controls your TARDIS. So you get another advancement, and it basically has a really cool dematerializing sound, which is actually quite unique. I've never heard this sound before for a Doctor Who dematerialization, which is very nice. Then you've also got these, and what I love is you can click each one individually on every single one of these. I really feel like the Dalek mod needs something like this. I believe it's getting it for 1.16 in the future, improved TARDIS controls, but yeah, I absolutely love that you can press each one individually. Now, these ones control your coordinates, so this is your X coordinate increasing, this is your Y coordinate increasing, and this is your Z coordinate increasing, and then these are all the decreased ones. So then you've got the rotation switch, and that locks and unlocks it. Now, the only criticism I have here is I think it's a bit of an interesting name for something that does just lock and unlock your TARDIS. It might be better to call it a door lock or something, because rotation switch for me feels like it should be this, which is your landing direction. So it basically rotates where the TARDIS is. So yeah, personally for these two, I think the name should probably change. Oh, and if you're interested, these are the button panels here. But yeah, I think the name's quite an interesting choice, but I definitely love the functionality. Then you've got this and these, which I thought at first glance were just normal vanilla levers and buttons, but they're actually not. They're the TARDIM lever and the TARDIM button. Now, the lever looks really weird when you hold it in your hand. It's almost like it's partly on your hand and partly not. It's a bit of a strange holding thing, but I actually kind of like it. The more I've seen this, the more I think it looks quite cool, and that the vanilla lever should be held in this way. But anyway, this just sets your coordinates for home. I'm not entirely sure on the functionality of that, but I have a feeling using this, which we'll get to in just a second, there is a way to set your home point. Then you've also got this, which is the flight information, and it basically just gives some information in chat of where you are. Then you've got this, the computer panel. So I'm not entirely sure what this is. I assume it's for code and stuff. I normally just type hello in here, and it doesn't do much. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure on the functionality of this, but some command block or coding wizard can probably do something with that. Then you've got this monitor, so if you just normally right-click it, then you get not only an advancement for using every single TARDIS control, which is what does this button do, but you also get some more information, which I have a feeling is very similar to the flight information. I'm not actually entirely sure what the difference between these two is, but I guess just one's when you're in flight and one's when you're not. Or maybe this is like what happens when it thinks you'll land, and this is where you are currently. I don't really know. But then if you hold nothing in your hand and you shift right click this, then you open the TARDIM command panel. Now this is very, very cool. There are loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of commands. Now a couple I've seen here is /home, so I assume it's like that's how you can do your home thing, which you mentioned earlier. And obviously, I'm no command block wizard. I don't know commands, so I don't really know how this works. But something interesting about this mod, which I've definitely noticed, is there's so much potential for people that do know stuff like this. So it's a little bit less user-friendly in the sense that in the Dalek mod, obviously, it's pretty self-explanatory. Everything's just like, you know, well, that button does that button does this. Whereas there's a lot of like coding kind of style stuff in here, where you've got the commands and everything like this. And I think that opens up a world of possibilities. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Personally, I don't really understand it, because like I said, I'm rubbish with command blocks. But I think it does make it a really, really interesting mod to play with, because there's so much you can do with it. Then, one of the last functional blocks in this mod that isn't just for decoration stuff is the fuel storage. I'm pretty sure this is very similar to the TARDIS fuel bank in the Dalek mod, where you can just put some fuel in this hopper and it goes straight down to here. So I believe if we change our coordinates slightly and just do a bit of this, and then we land, then I think our fuel has actually gone down. So if we grab some coal, which I assume can be used for fuel, right? Yeah, so you get some coal that goes into there, and it stops once it's full, which is really, really cool. And this is the rematerialization sound as well, which is very, very cool. So yeah, that's all of the functional stuff in this mod. Next up, you've got some very, very, very cool decorational blocks. First of all, you've got the ceiling light. Now, this is a really, really cool texture light block, which can be crafted like this, what's shown on screen now. And it's basically, unsurprisingly, a light that can only be placed on the ceiling. Now, personally, I think it would be much better if it's just the TARDIM light and you could place it on the floor as well. I think that would make for some really, really cool TARDIS designs, as it does kind of resemble a vent. But, you know, if it just wants to be placed on the ceiling, I don't really have an issue with that. I do really, really love the texture, like I said, and it's a very cool classic TARDIS building material. Then you've got these, the roundels. Now, in this mod, there are actually so many different types of roundels. So here you can see there's a half variant of every single one, and there's just a variant for every single color in the game, which I'm pretty sure you can craft using dyes. So if I just grab myself a roundel like I've got here, and then if I just grab myself some orange dye, I'm pretty sure if I just go into survival mode and I combine these, then yes, you get an orange roundel. So every single one of these is craftable, and yeah, they're a really, really, really cool block. So something I do quite like about these is they kind of look 3D, and it's a very simple texture while still looking very, very clean and very, very nice. Something I would love is if there was a black variant where the outside is black instead of white. I think that'd be really good for building, but this TARDIS mod isn't exactly designed for, you know, loads and loads of building possibilities. Then if I just hop into spectator mode, you were probably wondering how this works, and it's very similar to the Dalek mod. Yes, I'm going to be comparing a lot of stuff to the Dalek mod in this video, and that's that there is a TARDIS dimension, although it's actually called the TARDIS biome, as you can see here. So this uses the N dimension sky. Now that is pretty much my one and only criticism with this, and that's that I think it looks so much cooler and a lot less ominous if there was a custom sky like there is in the Dalek mod. A bit of a lighter one, and it would make it a bit more unique. Now obviously, like I've said many times in this video already, this mod is supposed to be vanilla style, so it does make sense for it to have an existing vanilla sky. But I just feel like if you're playing TARDIM multiplayer, I think there is an unofficial TARDIM server as well, then you're going to be making a lot of bridges like this between all the interiors, and this is absolutely terrifying of how dark it is, so I feel like it'd just be be much nicer if it had a custom sky. But once again, that's just my opinion, and for the functionality wise, I really like how it works. So finally for this review, you've got all the advancements, which I did talk a bit about earlier. There is 8 in total. You've got the TARDIM one, which is just the main one. Then you've got the craft a TARDIM key, or just obtain it. Now, I forgot to mention earlier, I absolutely love this key texture. It's really, really cool. I love the time rotor texture as well. I just absolutely love all of the textures in this mod. It's incredible. So you've got the I can lose this, right, which I really, really love all the names of these. You've got the special challenge purple one, which requires you to do loads of different stuff. Not entirely sure what they're called. That's the what was this button do. Then you've got the traveler, you've got the it's not a time column. Have to admit, I have called it a time column in the past. Then you've got the one for crafting a TARDIM door, which says they open out the way. And this is quite funny because they do open outwards, which is an actual thing in Doctor Who. The TARDIS doors do open outwards, but the Doctor always used to open them inwards, which is quite a funny little Easter egg, and I really, really like that. Then you've got the nostalgia one, which is for crafting a TARDIM, and I'm pretty sure that's a reference to the old TARDIM resource pack that I mentioned earlier. Please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong there. Then you finally got the it's bigger on the inside, which is to enter the TARDIM itself. So yeah, that is pretty much everything this mod has to offer. I've probably missed something major, knowing me, but that's all the stuff that I found at first, and that's my immediate reaction to all of these features. So I really, really hope you've enjoyed this fairly short review video. Now, obviously, if there is a major update to the mod in the future, then I'll do a review on that, but until then, this will probably be one of the only TARDIM videos you'll see on my channel. So if you enjoyed this, please leave a like or comment, and if you'd like to see more reviews like this for this mod and many more, then please subscribe. But I've been DT10, and I will see you in the next video.